Well, welcome. On this week's episode of Coffee Chat for Instructional Designers, we'll be discussing microlearning. I'm Kathy Reeves, your host for today, and I'm joined by three experienced designers, Stephanie Gilstrap, Taryn Williams, and Carolyn Smith. There's no universal definition of microlearning, but attend any training or development event and you'll see how hot the topic is. There are a variety of ways to deliver microlearning, and it can be a quick win for training delivery in a fast-paced environment. Training industry points out that e-learning is typically associated with microlearning, but it can be anything from text, images, audio, quizzes, or even games. Today, we'll speak with some experts in the instructional design field to learn more about this training method. So in today's fast-paced world where time is a precious commodity, the traditional approach to learning and training often falls short. Microlearning emerges as a solution, offering bite-sized, easily digestible pieces of knowledge and skills that can be absorbed in a short period of time. But when we think about microlearning, what exactly is it and what are its benefits?
So according to an article written by Reynolds microlearning is a dynamic approach in modern education and professional development that centers around the concise exploration of a single concept. So it leverages multiple senses and modes of learning in a brief yet highly effective time frame. Its adaptability to seamlessly integrate into the workflow of various job roles makes it a powerful tool for skill development and knowledge enhancement. This really speaks to time efficiency. Microlearning can enable learners to quickly access and complete bite-sized lessons, minimizing disruptions to their daily routines.
I'm in agreement with Carolyn. When I think of microlearning, I identify it as an approach to learning that efficiently conveys information about a single, specific idea in a compact and highly focused manner. This concise method is designed to provide learners with quick and targeted bursts of knowledge, making it an ideal solution for busy individuals and professionals looking to acquire new skills and information in a time-efficient manner. Therefore, microlearning can easily be scaled to accommodate a large number of learners or different teams within an organization.
Yes, microlearning provides a new teaching paradigm where knowledge and information is divided into small chunks and delivered to learners. Microlearning can make the subjects easy to understand and memorable for a longer period. It aids to help learners retain information. The short, frequent learning sessions enhance memory and recall of knowledge.
It's clear that microlearning is not just a passing trend, but a valuable tool for delivering effective, efficient, and engaging learning experiences. Its adaptability, scalability, and focus on improving knowledge retention make it a powerful addition to the arsenal of educational and training methods. Whether you're an educator, a professional, or a lifelong learner, microlearning offers a path to quicker, more effective learning. So how does microlearning differ from traditional learning?
The first thing that comes to my mind is duration. So microlearning modules are intentionally short, aiming to deliver knowledge quickly, whereas traditional learning can encompass longer sessions or courses, which can be more time-consuming.
Another difference is engagement. Microlearning frequently includes multimedia elements and interactions such as quizzes to keep learners engaged. Traditional learning may not have these features to the same extent.
Yeah, these discussions really remind me of personalization within microlearning. Microlearning can be easily personalized to meet individual learners' needs, offering a more tailored experience, while traditional learning might not provide the same level of personalization.
Yes, just to add on, I believe microlearning enables flexibility, which can cater for just-in-time training. Microlearning is designed to provide knowledge when learners need it, making it ideal for quick problem solving and skill development. Traditional learning often involves structured courses that may not be as agile.
So all of these discussions create room for further discussion that emphasize how microlearning aligns with today's fast-paced lifestyle.
So I think when we think about today's fast-paced lifestyle, microlearning really offers the on-the-go learning. So with the prevalence of mobile devices, microlearning can be accessed anytime, anywhere. So whether it's during commute, a short break, or while waiting in a line, learners can engage with microlearning materials effortlessly.
Yeah, and with that being said, it aids to a reduced cognitive load too. Microlearning prevents information overload by presenting content in manageable, concise pieces. And this aligns with the desire for quick comprehension and retention of knowledge without overwhelming the learner.
Yes, again, I think this speaks to improved retention. The concise nature of microlearning encourages Better retention and those short, frequent learning sessions enhance memory and recall, ensuring that learners can quickly apply what they're learning.
Well, we really are hearing how microlearning offers a more dynamic, time-efficient, and engaging learning experience compared to traditional learning. It aligns with the demands of today's fast-paced world and allows instructional designers to create more accessible, adaptable, and effective learning solutions. Now, industry leader Allen Interactions shares 4 key principles for what they consider next level microlearning. So, microlearning, according to Allen Interactions, says it has to be short, focused, each lesson is its own, and it must be convenient. So, let's talk about length first. How long should microlearning really be?
I recently read an article that said microlearning should be as long as it needs to be, rather than bound to a specific particular time frame.
So most microlearning that I've interacted with has been between 3 to 5 minutes, and I've seen a few that are actually less than 3 minutes.
Allen Interaction says that a single unit can be about 5 to 10 minutes, but they stress that the focus isn't the length of instruction. That can really vary from topic to topic and person to person. It really depends on the goals of that learning.
So, what can you guys share with the audience about making focused microlearning?
Due to the minimal time to cover content in a microlearning, it is important to narrow down your objectives. You are looking to cover 1, maybe 2 objectives in your learning.
Yes, it's important that the content is bite-sized and easy to digest by the learner. So the objectives need to be very focused and clear and specific.
So, can you help our audience understand what they mean by each lesson should stand on its own?
Absolutely. Each microlearning or lesson should be viewable and understandable without any other lessons.
Yeah, I agree with that. Each lesson will target its own objective and therefore can be viewed without any other lessons. This is great, especially to help break down larger areas of content. The learner can then watch the lesson they need at the time they need it.
So that brings us to the last key principle about being convenient and referenceable. What do they mean by that?
Well, think about practical things that you've learned in life. You may not remember how to change a tire when it comes time to do it, but you can really easily pull out your phone and watch a quick YouTube video to show you how.
Like Taryn was saying earlier, it's in the moment learning when you need it.
Absolutely. It's that just-in-time learning we all have been talking about.
So we see the importance of microlearning topics being specific and focused, but how do you make a decision on the topics, the structure, and the sequence?
First, I think you have to think about relevance. Choose content that directly aligns with your learners' goals and daily tasks. It should address specific pain points or challenges that they might face.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should really also look at priority. So focusing on high priority topics that require immediate application to ensure the content offers tangible benefits to the learner.
Yeah, and another aspect of it is the brevity, of course. Keep it concise. Microlearning is all about that bite-sized information. So limit the content to the essentials and avoid unnecessary details. If you need to provide a refresher to needed background information, you should keep it brief.
So the way you chunk the information is really important. What strategies can IDs use when determining how to divide their topics out?
Yeah, so logical sequencing is a great strategy. It's where you organize the content in a logical order to create a clear learning path. And that way each chunk should build upon the previous one.
Yes, and try to include as many engaging multimedia aspects or interactive assessments as you can. Use visuals, videos, any type of interactive elements to support the chunks. The visual aids can simplify complex topics. You could even insert quick exercises after each objective to test for comprehension.
Yes, I think to also include real-world examples as much as possible. So this gets back to the importance of relevance and provides a way that learners can see the concepts applied.
So the engagement and interactivity are key factors for the success of the microlearning unit. So what are some strategies for keeping learners engaged, and how can IDs incorporate interactivity for effective learning?
I'd recommend using a variety of content types, text, images, videos, infographics, trying to incorporate narratives or storytelling as much as possible so that the examples are real world and the content is relatable and engaging. As always, whatever channel or media you have available, try to make it as personalized and as engaging as possible.
Yes, and try to include interaction with the instructor and peers if possible. You really want to provide options for learners to share with each other and engage, and you don't want learners to also get stuck.
And try incorporating concepts of gamification, like earning badges or having a leaderboard. This can make the lesson more fun and may drive learners to keep progressing. And speaking of progressing, it's important to have a clear path with milestones or checkpoints to give learners a sense of achievement and progress.
This has just been a great conversation today, but I'd really like for us to take a look at some examples about how microlearning is being used in the real world. In 2021, a study focusing on the application of microlearning initiatives in 2 post-secondary education institutions was conducted with quantitative questionnaires and qualitative teacher reflections. Due to time limitations, both institutions' materials focused on basic or introductory skills rather than in-depth instruction. In both institutions, they found that microlearning was generally used as a supplement to other teaching and learning methods. As a result, students reported barely satisfactory or surface-level learning outcomes. However, the second institution did report a significant increase in average performance. If performance improved, what factors do you all think could have contributed to the lack of student satisfaction?
The delivery method could have lacked interactivity, maybe. I think even if learners were not super engaged, they may have still acquired the basic knowledge necessary for the assessment.
Yeah, and maybe the chosen delivery method needed to be more relevant to the learner group.
So the study did not disclose the exact types of materials used in the microlearning initiative, nor the cultural backgrounds of the students, so these could both be plausible correlations. However, the results also stress that microlearning could not replace face-to-face instruction because the content was too general for students to understand advanced details. How do you think the narrow scope of microlearning experiences limits the capability for its success?
I think the success of microlearning is partially dependent on choosing a subject that's compatible with short form learning. If I were designing a microlearning unit, I wouldn't choose a nuanced topic that requires a lot of elaborate explanation. While microlearning may not always teach everything about a given topic, it can teach the appropriate topics with a high level of efficiency.
I agree, and I do not think a narrow scope would be totally indicative of the perceived success of a microlearning experience because it does not account for the quality of instruction.
Right, because even if a narrow scope is appropriate for microlearning and the base content is correct, that does not mean that it will be well received by most learners.
You guys have all made some really great points. Let's move on to another case study of microlearning, one with profound success, but in a corporate environment. Companies, Axonify and Walmart, partnered up to create a 3 to 5 minute gamified micro-learning experience regarding store safety. At any point in their shift, Walmart employees were able to log on to Axonify and complete the micro-learning game while answering questions about store safety. Furthermore, employees were able to compete for higher game scores. Following a 91% voluntary participation rate, and if you've been in corporate, you know that's huge, the stores observed a significant decrease in recordable safety incidents. Aside from the interactivity involved in game-based learning, what other features of this micro-learning application do you think attributed to its high participation rates?
Its accessibility made it easy for employees to complete the microlearning because they were given the tools while they were at work.
Yeah, I also think there's something to be said about the community that employees were able to establish through the microlearning experience. So not only was the delivery method fun and engaging, but it provided the opportunity for friendly competition, thus incentivizing the employees to complete the learning experience to the best of their abilities.
Absolutely. If a micro-learning experience can foster community among learners, then it's likely that participants will put more effort into learning the content. Thank you all for your responses. As we conclude this interview, I want to ask one final question for you all to provide insight based on your own experiences. What trends or innovations do you see in the field of microlearning, and how are you planning to incorporate them into your future instructional design projects?
As we've been talking about gamification and community in microlearning, I feel inspired to look into how I can include some competitive games in my microlearning projects to increase engagement.
Me as well. As someone who really enjoys playing games at home, I think game-based microlearning could help cater to those who struggle with maintaining attention.
Yeah, and I'm curious as to how microlearning in educational settings can challenge the connection of face-to-face instruction. I know one of our case studies said that it probably couldn't challenge that connection, but I would like to focus on providing high levels of accessibility because providing designated time for learning usually increases the participation.
Amazing. I'm excited to see what you all design in your future microlearning endeavors. Thank you all so much for taking time to share your instructional design perspectives today. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to hear our experts talk about our topic of microlearning. We'll see you next week where we'll talk about how to make learning engaging.